They told you that discipline is everything. That waking up early, grinding through pain, sticking to routines no matter how you feel is the path to greatness. They told you that if you just stay focused long enough, your time will come. And you believed it. You forced yourself to stay consistent, to obey the system, to beat the lazy part of your mind into silence. You called it strength. You called it discipline. But I don't know, Machiavelli would call it something else. He would call it obedience to a system that was never designed for your dominance. Because here's the brutal truth. Discipline makes you predictable. And in a world where power belongs to the unpredictable, the adaptive, the strategically ruthless, discipline is not power. It is a leash. And if you want to be dangerous, unstoppable, untouchable, Machiavelli would say one thing. Stop being disciplined. Start being strategic. Discipline is only a virtue when you're the one setting the game. But most people aren't. Most people are, but disciplined inside a system someone else created. They wake up early not because it makes them stronger, but because a porn book told them successful people do. They grind on projects they hate, not because it leads to power, but because discipline told them to finish what they started. They follow routines like rituals, never questioning if the routine still serves the outcome. Machiavelli would laugh at this because to him, consistency for the sake of consistency is weakness. It's not noble to persist in a plan that no longer works. It's not virtuous to stick to a code that earns you no power. That's not discipline. That's mental slavery in a costume of self-improvement. Now imagine a different mind, a dangerous mind, one that sees discipline not as the goal, but as a tool to be used and discarded as needed. This mind doesn't wake up at 5 a.m. because the gurus say to. It wakes up when it needs to. It sleeps when recovery serves the next strike. It moves fast when speed gives advantage. It slows down when silence brings power. This mind doesn't force itself to stay consistent. It adapts. It recalibrates. It breaks the routine the moment the routine becomes predictable. Because predictability is how enemies find you. And discipline, when worn like a badge, becomes your biggest weakness because everyone knows exactly how you'll behave. The dangerous man doesn't pride himself on rigidity. He prides himself on control of time, of emotion, of action. He's not trapped by the need to stay disciplined. He's free to change strategy mid-battle without guilt. And that's why Machiavelli would say discipline is for soldiers. Strategy is for rulers. One follows orders. The other rewrites the map. Here's how discipline kills power silently. First, discipline trains you to obey, not to question. When you become addicted to routines, you stop asking whether the outcome still matters. You keep going because that's what I do. You don't notice the landscape changed. You don't adapt. You persist, and persistence in the wrong direction is called failure in slow motion. Second, discipline rewards endurance, not intelligence. Anyone can grind, but the most powerful minds know when to pivot, when to quit, and when to redesign the entire plan. Discipline keeps you moving. Strategy tells you where to move. Third, discipline dulls your instincts. You stop listening to your gut. You override your intuition because it doesn't fit the plan. You force yourself to push when you should have paused and missed the signal that would have made you lethal. Machiavelli's most dangerous followers don't follow blueprints. They follow results. And they ask one question over and over. Does this serve the outcome? Not is this the right habit? Not did I stick to the plan? But did this move bring me closer to control, power, leverage, or victory? If the answer is no, the move is discarded, no matter how noble it felt, no matter how many days it had been repeated, no matter how disciplined it made them look, because to Machiavelli, the illusion of virtue is the most seductive trap, and discipline is one of the deadliest illusions of all, because it feels like growth, even when it's keeping you small. Look around. The world is full of hard-working, consistent, disciplined men waking up at 5 a.m. journaling, reading, eating the same clean meals. They're doing everything right according to the system, and they're still invisible, still replaceable, still obeying a structure that rewards loyal workers, not powerful thinkers. That's not weakness by accident. That's weakness by design. The disciplined man is perfect for systems of control. He's dependable. He doesn't ask questions. He pushes through discomfort without revolt. He can be predicted, measured, forecasted, which is why Machiavelli would call him the bonsui, ideal servant. Now contrast that with the one they never see coming. He doesn't follow the same routine every day. He follows momentum. He doesn't stick to rigid habits. He watches for windows of opportunity. He doesn't feel guilty for abandoning a plan that no longer serves him. He pivots instantly. And because he's unpredictable, they can't control him. Because he's unchained from discipline, he's always positioned for power. That is the Machiavellian reversal. Discipline makes you respectable, but only strategy makes you feared. And in the pursuit of power, respect without fear is meaningless. So, if you're waking up every day forcing yourself through motions just to feel good about consistency, if you're sticking to a path that's no longer producing leverage, if you're addicted to discipline because it protects you from the discomfort of adapting, then you've already lost, because the game isn't won by the one who worked the hardest. It's won by the one who read the game, bent the rules, and adjusted the fastest. Discipline doesn't make you dangerous. Only control does. And control comes not from force, but from a flexibility weaponized by strategy. The world respects the disciplined man, but it fears the strategic one. Because while the disciplined man is busy perfecting his routine, the strategic man is perfecting leverage. He's not trying to become efficient at life. He's trying to bend life toward his will. This is where Machiavelli draws the line. He doesn't reject effort. He doesn't despise structure. But he knows that once structure becomes religion, it becomes your prison. So he operates in a different realm. He understands that every disciplined man eventually becomes a slave to his own system. And that slavery, no matter how productive, is still slavery. This is how it happens. First you build a habit. Then the habit becomes your identity. And then your identity becomes your cage. I'm the guy who never skips a day. I'm the one who always finishes what he starts. I'm the man who pushes through no matter what. It sounds noble, but Machiavelli would look you in the eyes and say, that makes you predictable. That makes you vulnerable. That makes you mine. Because the moment someone can guess your next move, you've already lost the advantage. And when discipline becomes who you are, your enemies don't need to fight you. They just need to watch you follow your own script. The Machiavellian mind isn't afraid to break its own rules. In fact, it sees rules as tools, temporary, situational, and expendable. Here's what that looks like in practice. If the plan stops working, he doesn't hesitate to burn it. If the routine loses leverage, he drops it mid-stride. If a better opportunity appears, he roots instantly without guilt, because he knows that power is not given to the consistent, it's given to the adaptive. Let's get tactical. Here, we are the three most common places where discipline traps men into weakness and what Machiavelli would do instead. First, the morning routine trap. Wake up early, cold shower, read, journal, meditate, gym, green smoothie. You feel like a machine, like a winner. But here's the catch. You didn't think. You followed. Your entire morning was an act of obedience, not opportunity. Machiavelli would ask, did this routine move you closer to real-world power? Did it position you to outthink, outmaneuver, or out-leverage your competitors today? Or did it just help you feel like you were making progress? He doesn't wake up with the goal of feeling productive. He wakes up with one goal: control the next decisive moment. If that means skipping the gym to make a call that changes your income, do it. If it means ignoring the journal to rehearse psychological strategy before a negotiation, do it. If it means sleeping in because your clarity at 2 p.m. will matter more than your pride at 6 a.m., do it. You are not here to impress your calendar. You are here to win. Second, the streak. Addiction. I haven't missed a day in 100 days. I've been doing this every day for a year. That's not power. That's pride. In disguise. Machiavelli would call it emotional leverage against yourself. You've created a prison, one where breaking the streak feels like death, even if the streak no longer produces returned value. The disciplined man says, I can't stop now. I've come too far. The strategic man says, if stopping now gives me an advantage, I will stop instantly. Consistency is only power when it serves your goals, not your ego. The moment the system stops giving you real returns, you must abandon it without apology, because every day spent inside a useless routine is a day your enemies are catching up or pulling ahead. Third, the finish what you started lie. They taught you to never quit, to always finish, to see it through. But Machiavelli didn't finish bad plans. He replaced them. He didn't honor every commitment. He adapted the moment. A better opportunity appeared. He didn't persist for the sake of integrity. He moved for the sake of victory. This doesn't make you flaky. It makes you dangerous. Because while the disciplined man keeps pushing a broken cart uphill, you quietly change carts and pass him without effort. The world rewards those who complete the right things, not those who complete everything. And this is where the Machiavellian mind separates completely from the obedient one. He doesn't follow structure. He weaponizes it. He builds routines that produce measurable leverage, not emotional comfort. He trains himself to walk away from systems the moment they lose power. He practices breaking his own rhythm, so no one can ever track his pattern. Discipline is not evil, but unquestioned. Discipline is mind control, especially when you're the one hypnotizing yourself. The man who trains himself to break his rhythm at will is the man one can trap, because no one knows when he'll strike, where he'll move, or how far he's willing to go to win. So ask yourself, are you being consistent in because it's working, or because it's what you're used to? Are you following discipline to move forward, or to feel safe in the illusion of control? Are you proud of how long you've stuck to your system, even if that system no longer builds anything real? Because discipline is only power when it's tied to results. Otherwise, it's just a cage you built with your own hands. This is why Machiavelli didn't write books about motivation. He didn't glorify consistency. He didn't praise obedience. He praised flexibility. foresight, timing, psychological agility, and above all, control. Because in the real game of power, the man who can follow a plan is valuable, but the man who can abandon it at the exact right moment, he is untouchable. By now, you understand what most never will. Discipline, when used blindly, is not a superpower. It's a bare performance, a socially accepted form of self-oppression. But what makes this performance so seductive is that it earns applause. People see your grind and say you're focused. They see your all habits and say you're reliable. They see your routine and say you're admirable. But they don't see what you've lost in the process. They don't see the opportunities you missed by refusing to pivot. They don't see the power you surrendered just to keep your streak alive. They don't see the creativity, the sharpness, the cold instinct you buried beneath discipline's comforting structure. Machiavelli's genius was this. He saw that virtue is often used as a leash, and discipline, it's the leash you proudly tighten around your own throat. You think it makes you strong to say, I always push through. But the killer strategic mind asks, push through what and why? You say, I never quit. But the Machiavellian asks, is what you're doing still worth finishing? Or are you afraid to appear inconsistent? You say, I'm locked in. But he says, good. Now, your enemies know exactly where to find you. And that's the most dangerous thing about discipline. It makes you visible, trackable, predictable. In war, the predictable man is the first to be ambushed. In politics, the predictable man is the easiest to manipulate. In life, the predictable man never gets power because everyone else already knows his next move. So what does the dangerous man do instead? He learns to weaponize inconsistency, not laziness, not chaos. Strategic inconsistency. It looks like this. 1 week he's social, the next he vanishes. One day he's agreeable, the next he's ice cold. One season he pushes relentlessly, the next he pulls back and repositions. Why? Because confusion breeds control. Because when people can't track your rhythm, they can't map your next move. And when they can't map you, they begin to respect you differently. Discipline earns admiration, but unpredictability breeds fear. And in the game of dominance, fear will take you farther than admiration never could. Machiavelli believed that a man should never show his entire pattern. He must learn to break his own habits intentionally, so no one can study him for too long. He must remain just outside the lines of expectation. If they think you always reply immediately, delay. If they think you'll be calm, erupt. If they think you'll show up, disappear. This isn't about being erratic. It's about being in control of your image, even when that image is unclear. Because once you create confusion, people lean in, they watch you closer. They overthink around you, and that alone gives you power. Here's the deeper truth. Discipline is control over yourself, but strategy is control over the game. Discipline says, I'll keep going no matter what. Strategy says, I'll stop when it's no longer useful and strike again when the outcome favors me. Discipline builds willpower. Strategy builds leverage. And in the world of Machiavelli, leverage always beats effort. Let's talk about why this idea threatens so many people. Because most of the world's advice is built around telling you what to do every day. Wake up early. Do your routine. Stay consistent. Repeat. But that advice was never designed to create rulers. It was designed to create workers, followers, obedient machines, people who can be relied upon not for vision but for execution. And you weren't born to be a machine. You were born to be a weapon, a strategist. a force, so you must unlearn the systems that were installed to tame you. This doesn't mean you should live in chaos. Machiavelli didn't preach randomness. He preached intelligent disruption. He didn't say, don't be disciplined. He said, be disciplined only until it stops serving the mission. When discipline leads to mastery, keep it. When discipline creates leverage, keep it. But the moment it becomes a pattern others can map, a cage you're proud to be inside, ritual you can't abandon, destroy it. Because no habit, no matter how healthy, is worth your dominance. And no system, no matter how efficient, is worth your unpredictability. So if you want to live like a Machiavellian, you must learn to abandon what made you respectable in order to become someone they cannot ignore. That means letting go of routines when they start to rot, walking away from the discipline when it stops producing the momentum and breaking your pattern before someone else breaks you with it. Discipline might help you build the God's castle, but strategy is what keeps you on the throne. Because when the enemy surrounds your gates, when the plans fall apart, when the pressure mounts and the routine crumbles, the disciplined man says, this isn't how I planned it. The Machiavellian says, good, now we play my game. By now, everything you once believed about discipline has been cracked open. You were told discipline was freedom, that it gave you strength, that it built your future. But Machiavelli would say that only applies when you control the direction. When you don't, discipline just makes you walk faster towards someone else's goal. And that's the final trap. The world praises the man who is reliable, who sticks to his process, who never waver. But the world does not give power to that man. It gives him a certificate, a title, a gold star, and then it moves him out of the bum way for someone more dangerous, someone who breaks the rules with precision, someone who moves in silence, adapts without guilt, and shifts shape when the corner game changes. That man is not disciplined. That man is Machiavellian. He doesn't live in a routine. He lives in response. He wakes up not to fulfill a plan, but to survey the battlefield, to feel the tension in the air, to calculate, to strike where it hurts, and if the plan from yesterday no longer applies today, he erases it without hesitation, because he understands one thing. Power is not a reward for effort. It is a result of clarity, timing, and adaptability. And discipline, when it becomes doctrine, destroys all three. The truly dangerous man isn't defined by his habits. He's defined by his ability to burn them down. He's disciplined only when the moment demands control. He's chaotic when chaos gives him the upper hand. He's unreadable because he has trained himself to disobey his own rhythms. He doesn't fear breaking consistency. He fears being decoded, because once your pattern is known, so is your weakness. And Machiavelli didn't build kingdoms by being easy to read. Look at the history of those who dominated. They didn't grind in silence. They moved in silence. They didn't repeat rituals. They disrupted cycles. They didn't pride themselves on routine. They prided themselves on being uncatchable. And those who stuck too tightly to their ways, they were crushed the moment the terrain changed, because this power doesn't reward the man who shows up every day. Power rewards the man who knows when to disappear, when to pivot, when to strike, and when to vanish. So, here's the final test. If someone removed your routine, your schedule, your rituals, your structure, would you still move with precision, or would you freeze? Would you panic? Would you become useless? Because if your power depends on routine, then your power isn't real. It's rented, and the moment life shakes that foundation, you'll collapse with it. The Machiavellian builds his strength on something else, not consistency, not repetition, but readiness. He sharpens two things more than any habit. First, his awareness. He studies the room, the opponent, the rules, and he knows exactly which rule to follow or break to shift the power. Balance in his favor. Second, his detachment from plans, from pride, from the need to be seen as disciplined. He has nothing to prove, only something to control. And that's why you'll never catch him stuck. Never see him trying to push through something that no longer serves him. Never hear him say, I have to do this. I've done it for 100 days in a row. No. If it no longer creates advantage, he stops, and he pivots, and he adapts. And that's why he wins. So what should you do now? You don't need to throw away your habits, but you need to cut their leash from your identity. Start asking yourself every day, does this routine still bring results? Am I following this because it works or because it's comfortable? If I had to destroy this system today, could I rebuild something stronger tomorrow? If the answer is no, you are not free. You are not in control. You are still just a disciplined servant in a world ruled by strategic masters. Machiavelli's greatest warning wasn't about discipline itself. It was about those who mistake discipline for dominance. And his greatest insight, that the man who rewrites the rules, not just for others, but for himself, is the only one who becomes unstoppable. So stop being proud of how consistent you've been. Start being dangerous in how fast you can shift, reset, adapt, win. That's not discipline, that's power. And if they ask how you did it, don't explain, don't teach, don't motivate, just smile and move before they can predict your next step. Because when they're still measuring discipline, you'll be measuring control and you'll already be gone.